Hi guys, and welcome back to class. Today we are going to start off with lesson 10, and we are going to be describing the front. So I want you guys to pick one of these or three different senses from vision, hearing, smell, taste, or touch. And based on these senses, describe the front using them. So for example, what type of things do you think you would see on the front? What do you think you would hear on the front? What kind of smells would that be? Would you be able to taste anything on the front? Would you be able to touch anything or feel anything on the front? That will be inside of a discussion board inside of Schoology. Moving on, our content framing question for this lesson is in our reveal stage. What does a deeper exploration of descriptive language reveal? Our craft question in our execute stage is, how do I use a broad category to organize information? So, you are going to take your new read assessment at this time. In this lesson, you will analyze how the author's use of language creates an understanding of the soldier's experiences on the front. You are going to do this by taking a test or a quiz from what you have read thus far. This is going to be called your new read assessment. You will find this inside of Schoology. It will not actually look like this because I will build it as an assessment, but these questions will be there for you to answer. After you guys have taken your new read assessment for today, I want us to analyze the descriptions of the front and the soldiers. So I want you guys to read pages 59 through 64 of All Quiet on the Western Front. You're going to start from at regular intervals we ram into iron stakes to villas baseness to use horses in war. So this is the sections that you will be using for a reading for All Quiet on the Western Front. Then you're going to answer these questions and record them in your journals. How does Paul describe the fair-headed recruit? That is going to be on page 61. How does he describe the fair-headed recruit? What do the characteristics of the fair-headed recruit reveal about the soldier's experiences at the front? How does Paul describe the wounded horses? Page 62. Then, unendurable means impossible to bear. How does this word intensify the men's reaction to the horses? And how do Paul's descriptions of the horses on pages 63 through 64 suggest how the horses are symbols for what happens on the front? I also want you guys to update your status reports. You should have this document already in your drive because you've already been using it. I want you to record characteristics and incidences and responses for the characters that are on the status report. Share your status reports into the document that is online. For those of you who are at home doing this exercise, you do need to have a status report for each of the slides and for each of the characters. Then we're going to end today's lesson answering our content framing question. What does a deeper exploration of descriptive language reveal? In other words, as you were reading the text and you came across descriptive language, what did you learn about the characters, about the front, about the area or the setting in which they were based on how they described them? For example, in one of the pages, Paul Balmer, who is the narrator, described the cook as a carroty head cook. That is descriptive language. And he did this because it reveals to us that the cook has red hair. That would be something that would take place if you were doing a deeper exploration of descriptive language. For homework, I want you guys to read pages 65 through 74 on All Quiet on the Western Front. You're going to start at We Go Back to, and you're going to end at We Are Again Half Asleep. I want you to annotate for evidence that relates to the category that you wrote in your new read assessment paragraph, and continue your fluency homework on the fluency handout 7A. Remember, guys, that you can write in these books, so if you want to highlight or make notes in there, that is okay. For our deep dive, we're going to look at the word punctuation. I want you guys to define the word punctuation and write that down. Then I want you guys to look at the prefix punc, which means point, prick, or pierce. How did your definition relate to the definition of the Latin root punc? Page 53 is where you'll find some punctuation, and I want you to reread the fourth paragraph. Why is the timing of batteries important to the soldiers? Knowing that punc means point, prick, or pierce, how would you define punctual? Punctual means at the agreed or proper time, or in time. So if you are punctual for something, that means you are on time for it. So in order for me to be punctual to get to work, I have to wake up on time to make sure that I make it punctually on time for work, or punctually to work. I want you to look at the last paragraph on page 58 of your novels. Define perpetual as constant or non-stop movement. Your definition for punctuated using this context and the knowledge of the root. With this said, I will have all of these answers to these questions or assignments inside of Schoology for you to answer these questions that are here. Make sure that you add the Latin root and the definitions to your journals. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.